Okay, great. Welcome everyone to our 12th instalment of Town Council recurring meetings. For today's meeting, we'll discuss the upcoming liquid delegation and share some updates from the game company. We'll finish with some open discussion / Q&A. Firstly, however, let's start with an overview of the Town Council and the purpose of these recurring meetings. These recurring meetings serve 5 critical functions. They provide transparency to our community. They create a structured forum for proposal discussions, enabling authors to present to the council and community and to discuss, debate, and refine for formal proposal and voting with consensus. They enable regular platform updates. They ensure consistent communication amongst council members. And finally, they allow direct community engagement through question and answer sessions. The Town Council is a local governance organisation within the Telcoin platform. Together, we serve as a provider and administrator of collective goods and services within the jurisdictional domain of the Telcoin Application Network, or TAN. The TAN Council, with our 6 members, makes decisions related to TAN improvements and policies through the TAN IP process. We need 5 out of 6 votes to approve proposals within a 120-hour voting period. Our primary duties are to allocate TEL issuance on TAN, stakers and developers to harvest, and to plan and finance the development of the Telcoin application network. Our key responsibilities include reviewing and voting on snapshot proposals, attending these bi-weekly meetings, providing regular community updates, monitoring TAN systems, and enforcing operational rules. We use Discord for day-to-day communication, forum for informal proposal discussions, these recurring council meetings for proposal discussions, deliberation and refinement, and snapshot for formal voting. Overall, the TAN Council has authority over miner harvesting and planning and financing TAN infrastructure. So, get down to business. First of all, actually, it wasn't on the agenda, but shout out to Ari. Today was the first day we implemented his proposal for using a time-weighted average over the week for TAN IP1 issuance rather than users' minimum stake. So that all went smoothly and had great feedback from Marcus on that. So well done, Ari. And yeah, welcome to Ari and Dwight, who are our new platform council members. So very exciting developments all around. To get on to, quite on topic, we ourselves will be hosting a liquid delegation. Jeff, who held the TAN Council developer's seat since the election in September, resigned from his role on the TAN Council yesterday. His resignation came as a result of not finding a meeting time that worked for everyone, and the best that we could manage this time. The best time that we can manage was this one, and that works for everyone else. So, although there were other solutions suggested, such as having East and West meetings, we decided that would create inefficiencies in our council meetings and were therefore not viable. So, having everyone here on one call is pretty crucial, especially at this point. As a result of Jeff's resignation, we'll initiate a liquid delegation process to fill the developer's seat on the TAN Council. Regular attendees of the council meetings should be familiar with the liquid delegation process, as we recently replaced 2 on the platform council. But just to run through the next steps to get everyone up to speed. Jeff's NFT has been transferred to me as the TAL member on this council. Between now and the election of the new council member, I'll vote using my NFT and this new NFT to ensure the council can achieve 100% quorum and 5 out of 6 approval votes to pass TAN IPs. We'll release a forum post under which candidates will submit their applications. So stay tuned to the forum for that. And the application window will close 24 hours before the snapshot vote is posted. So candidates get your nominations in 24 hours before we post the snapshot. Candidates will also be invited to introduce themselves at the council meeting preceding the start of voting. The vote will last 7 days, and the winner will be required to pass Know Your Member or KYM checks. Some other points to note are, since we're selecting an individual to represent the developers minor group, the winner of this liquid delegation will be decided by Telcoin, as they are currently the only application developer. And secondly, the selected individual must be able to attend this meeting, which is every other Thursday at 4 p.m. Central Time. So please don't apply if you can't make this time. So to start with, we need to decide on the dates of candidate introductions and the start of voting. I'd suggest that the vote goes live on the 23rd of May at 3 p.m. Central Time. So that means if the application window closes 24 hours before, that would be Thursday, the 22nd of May at 3 p.m. Central Time. And then that gives us an hour basically between the nominations closing and our next council meeting. Happy to go for other timings if people prefer. Would be great to hear from the other council members.
Hey, that sounds good to me. Just a reminder, if we could share this on the official Talk Points Out next streaming.
I believe I did retweet it, yeah. So it would be up and yeah.
Awesome.
Maybe
BZ
can. Yeah.
That time works for me. My input.
Okay, lovely. Perfect. So I will bake those into the forum post, if we're happy with those times, and take it from there. So we'll give everyone notice when those forum posts are up, probably tomorrow. Cool. Does anyone have any questions about what's happened there, or liquid delegation process in general, or anything else to do with that from the community or council members? Okay, cool. So moving on, the next item, just to update everyone, is to do with the game company. So Vital's been working with the game company on their application to this council for the GSMA sign-on cost coverage scheme, as described in TAN IP2. That involves creating materials that will also aid future applicants. So we're grateful for their input to that process. It's cool to kind of see the other side of that, and how much they want to share, and how they're approaching this whole exercise. So we should have that kind of headed our way soon to discuss and come to a decision on. They are also almost ready to submit their application to the GSMA for basic membership. They've informed me that they're expecting no issues in acceptance of their application, and that the GSMA are very excited and keen to have them as an industry member. So all good news there, I'd say. In other news from them, their platform is now live in GCC markets. So that means they'll start to see real gamers joining the platform, and that marks that they're now in a post-launch growth stage, which is extremely exciting. So yeah, hopefully there'll be more news headed our way on that front soon, and we'll be looking to onboard them properly. Cool. Any questions on that? That's pretty much all the information I have from them. So it should be fairly self-explanatory. And if not, then we can launch into Q&A.
Leo, real quick, have they shared back to us what the initial costs were? I know we had some budgetary limits in the proposal itself. Are they going to fit within that range?
Sorry, come again.
Sorry, I'll type it. It's super loud.
No, you're good. Limits in terms of what the GSMA membership was going to cost.
Yes, yeah. Have they been able to feed back to us what those initial costs were going to be yet? Or no, I'm sorry,
Um,
they haven't submitted their application yet, have they?
they haven't submitted the application yet,
Okay. Yeah.
and I believe the way that the improvement proposal was worded, it kind of set a limit, and whether if they go over that, then we're not required to kind of give any more than we planned.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I was wondering. Okay.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, and in the comments, Boo raises the point. Yeah, they did expect it to take about 5 days between submission and approval. So they're expecting it to be a fairly speedy process once they do actually get all their ducks in a row and get the application in. So it'll be quite quick. Yeah. Any other questions on that, or more generally, actually, can open it up for some Q&A. It might also be quicker if people are willing to come up onto the stage to have you speak, rather than us all waiting. The last proposal, Boo, I believe we kind of voted to put it on ice for now. We especially wanted to wait till Harry's proposal was properly implemented, which it now is. And I think we kind of want to look at some of the data from the last 10 periods of rewards, I believe, and then a few of these new and improved ones, to see if we should be making any changes, if we want to be making any changes, if it's worth making any changes, just to get a general initial idea there. Hopefully that answered your question. Crypto Steve-O, to clarify, I was just interested in what we budgeted was going to help in totality. Excited to get them on board. I think we budgeted like 15K application developer. I believe that's what the basic membership costs. And then I think we were kind of budgeting for like up to 4 application developers this year. Andrew, to answer your question, did Power Hive apply to GSMA 2? I do not believe Power Hive have applied to GSMA yet. I think they're still scoping that out. But yeah. How can we attract more developers? Any thoughts? Well, let's open that up to the council for now. I think we've made some good starts. I think the GSMA cost coverage is pretty neat, and that was pretty good from a kind of number of perspectives, including kind of getting us in favor in a way with GSMA and getting them more members. The GSMA kind of membership cost was seen as a bit of a barrier to entry, and we're kind of breaking that down. Perhaps the marketing initiative from the platform council will also kind of spread the word and entice more developers to come and build on the Telcoin platform. And beyond that, for now, I personally don't really know. But I'd love to hear thoughts from the council members and the rest of the community as well. I think we're definitely on our way, but yeah, always room for new initiatives and improvements.
Yeah, I think when this proposal comes out, I think you said tomorrow you should be up there.
Sorry, Liberty, your mic's a bit, your audio doesn't sound great.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm driving right now. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Just try and speak a bit louder, maybe.
Um, so you said the proposal was going to be up on the forum tomorrow?
Yeah. So yeah, liquid delegation proposal to the forum, and I'll add the dates in.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing from the community is just help push that through their socials and whatnot. I
Yeah,
mean, aside from,
absolutely.
yeah, maybe
That's a great
marketing from,
point. That's a great point.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was just my input. We should definitely work as a community to try and push that out there so we get as many eyes on it as possible.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's a great point. So yeah, everyone in the community and the councils, please make a special effort. I will post to the forum tomorrow, and then if you can spread that on social media as far and wide as possible, to get as many candidates basically for that role as possible. So we can kind of maintain a high quality of council member and people who are willing to put in the work and who are committed. That'll be a huge help. So yeah, great point, Liberty. Thanks for that.
Do you think it's possible for the official Telcoin account to repost that?
I'd say it's pretty unlikely, to be honest. So we do need to maintain this separation, and it needs to be clear, and it's all just legal perspective, and Telcoin don't want to risk anything, especially with the bank and all of that kind of side of things. So we've kind of got to fend for ourselves a bit on that front. But yeah, I do keep trying at them. So when they can retweet stuff, they will. But I think that's kind of too close to home or too far from home for them. But yeah. So Blue Light says, should we come up with an outreach program of some kind to actively push it, i.e. contacting projects or devs already on the scene? Yeah, so that would be a nice idea, and I think probably marketing will aid with that, but yeah, doing that as well wouldn't hurt. Again, if people in the community especially are willing to get involved in other discords and stuff and spread the word, that'd be awesome. Otherwise, we can kind of formalize it a bit more and create a outreach TAN IP or whatever, and send some tell in that direction. But yeah, all of those kinds of initiatives, as with like the TAN IP proposals and the issuance proposals, I'm kind of in favor of changing one variable at a time in a way. So let's get the marketing going. We can wait for the platform council to organize that, and then we can see what effect that has, and then we can go from there rather than going in like 10 different directions immediately, and it's kind of harder to separate the inputs and outputs then. Because I think in general that might be quite similar to the effects we'd expect to get from marketing. Um, so, oh yeah, Ari mentioned open sourcing. One of the codes was another question, I believe 10x. I don't know what 10x is personally. Um, I know that isn't this council, but another idea to think about. Um, yes, we can think about that. And then Binary Code says LinkedIn is a nice social media platform. I think we can push it there in a targeted way. Um, yeah, I think personally, like one of our strengths is our community, and you can actually create a lot of traction just from individuals. So yeah, get out there and spread the word. Um, we can do more formal and higher budget stuff as well alongside if everyone's welcome to submit a proposal and it will be discussed and considered and um, we can have more in-depth conversations about all this. Um, yeah, maybe there'll be more collaboration between Telcoin and the association, but um, hard to say at this point, and I have no real gauge on that, so apologies.
Uh, in any case, 200,000 TEL still undistributed. It's
Mhm.
the average for the last 4 weeks, and for this last distribution, it's almost 200,000 TEL. So it remains stable.
Sorry, you said over the last 4 weeks it averaged 200,000 tel wasn't distributed.
So for this period, it was 200,000.
Yeah.
The previous period, it was 300,000. The
Mhm.
one before, it was only 30K. The one before again, it was 200K. So 200K is the average.
Yeah, okay. 200K with a lot of variance. Um, so I'd say we should kind of keep monitoring that, and it is a good metric. But it has, it's just been the first set of rewards, or you know, the first issuance with this new and improved model. So I think we kind of still need more data points, and I'd be happy to wait for those. But if people are in a rush to kind of get those unallocated tells out, we can think about moving quicker. But does that sound reasonable? Are you still happy to wait?
Yeah, as I mentioned in my suggestion, 200K is not a huge amount to share, so there's no rush. So let's
Okay.
monitor a few more weeks, then we'll take a decision.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, also, we kind of mentioned it last time that these these unallocated rewards are just
Everybody,
sitting in the safe now, so we can just.
Harper. Thank you.
Let's just mute Liberty Lad quickly. Um,
Yeah.
the yeah, those unissued tokens are just sitting in the safe, so we could do them all in one go as well if we so wish. There are a lot of options there, but it would be nice to kind of try and find some kind of steady state. Um, would be good to know if we find a project or dev that's interested, who can we point them to in order to have a discussion prior to any forum posts, etc. Blue lights, I would say get them to email pancouncil@telcoin.org, and I will post that in the Discord a bit later. That will just come into our emails. There might be a dash in there, EZ. I will check that off.
And I also saw that Ari was thinking about one of his startup to implement it or use into the Telcon network. So as Ari is here, Ari, would you like to tell us more about it, your project, and you plan to subscribe to the GSMA for that?
Hey guys.
Hello.
Yeah, so I was just wondering if on the Telcoin network pages, if we were going to think about having like a service providers page for people that would be interested in developing on the network, if we could come up with some kind of process that companies could go and put their, because I own a consulting company, right? So it's like one of my companies I'm looking at, well, should I go ahead and get a GSMA membership and then turn around and devote some of my developer resources to function under that, and then like separately, I've already emailed Telcoin Holdings about another one of my companies. So yeah, so that's what that was really about. It's not an app developer, trying to get on there as an app developer now. I've got to wait till I hear back from Telcoin Holdings on that aspect, but it's more of if we have companies that come online and want to like interact with the Telcoin network, or startups that have an idea of something to build on the network, a lot of times they need, to get resources that they may not have to develop the app, to write smart contracts, that sort of thing. And I would like to see something like that available that we could have to point people to as for a reference.
So Leo, can you answer that? But correct me if I'm wrong, but if you want to develop anything on the telecom network, first you need to be a GSMA member.
No, that's not. So anybody could write anything on the Telcoin network, right? To become like an app developer and draw an actual issuance of Telvo, you would need to go and be a GSMA member to do that, right? I just think that from like my consulting company's standpoint, I would go and I would pay for the GSMA membership just because I think that adds some form of credibility to it, right? It's just like we're Microsoft partners, we're Oracle partners. We go and spend a lot of resources to get kind of like those accreditations and those associations because it gives people kind of like a sense of relief that they're not, dealing with just some, jackleg company that started overnight. So like what I'm really talking about is just a resource on the page, right? To have some kind of process where we would say ferret out, service providers to say like, hey, here's, some possible people that you could go to help with your development on the network. Because I know like, Amir's got a company out there, right? So he should be wanting some business and everything.
Was this like kind of like the landing page we were talking about, Ari?
Yeah, that sort of thing. Because like Liberty Lad brought up, me and him were discussing back and forth, and he brought up a awesome idea about like having kind of like a segmented type of by industry thing and examples of how a certain industry group their application could run on the Telcoin network. So like what I'm, involved with like a lot of is like payment processors, right? So healthcare, fintech, infrastructure, you name it. It's a lot of payment type of things. So that's what one of my other companies, why I've emailed Telcoin Holdings, because, for me, I have kind of an idea of, hey, I think I know how I could, turn this current company and have it work within the framework of the Telcoin network. But I'm asking for some clarification from the banking end of it before I go and make that leap. So
Yeah, so a lot of these companies aren't maybe too
Nice.
familiar with the
Can you guys hear me
blockchain
now?
or
Yeah, you're back, Leo. It's okay.
Okay,
Can hear
awesome.
you.
Yeah, sorry, I kind of missed that, but I was listening. So I think if I understand correctly, we could set up some kind of, would it be like a partner page in a way that we'll be showing people, consultants or devs, and associated companies that people can kind of come to for help and advice and to get their apps up and running, kind of thing. Have I understood that correctly?
yes, exactly. And then Liberty Labs one was to also kind of do like maybe it's like a showcase or something by like, split up by industry and say like, hey, we could take this idea and we could actually use the Telcoin network to do this.
Yeah.
like
I mean,
I helped
I guess
my
that's kind of been happening with the TAO already. So, partnerships like Power Hive and the game company have kind of originated from that kind of relationship. And I guess we could open that up. I don't know in terms of like web space. I don't know, which site we'll put it on, or we might need a new one. Because we've got Telex, but that's kind of its own self-contained thing. I don't think we really have a Hellpoint application network web page. So we'd probably have to build that from the ground up. But I think I get where you're coming from, and I think it could be quite handy. And I mean, eventually it will, boost the number of application developers and lower the barriers to entry for building on Telcoin network. So I think there are definitely many benefits to having some kind of page like that. It might just require a bit of input. Would be quite involved, but it sounds like this is right up your street. So maybe maybe you could help us with that and figure out how best to implement it.
Oops. Yeah, I can definitely do that.
Nice. Well, yeah, if you'd be willing to kind of put it down as a TAN IP and stuff, I don't see why we couldn't kind of entertain that and consider that going forward. I think it has a lot of advantages, so that would be cool.
I will do that then, sir.
Awesome, thank you. Sounds good. Does anyone have any other points, questions, concerns? Okay, well, if we're all happy to end it there, then we will get the forum proposal, the forum liquid delegation post out tomorrow, and if you could all please spread that far and wide, sign up whoever for it, just make sure they're available at that time, and yeah, then we'll get judging the applicants, and it should be fun. Great news from BZ as well, over 700 viewers on the stream, so that's lovely. And that proposal is now up on Snapshot, actually, on the platform council, so that should be getting implemented soon, and looking forward to having that kind of native bridge and getting the content directly to those platforms will be great. So lovely initiative there, and hopefully that will pass. So that's it from us, and thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in 2 weeks' time. Cheers.
Yeah. It was insightful. Thank you for your time. See you soon. Bye bye.
See ya.